Support for this program is provided in part by Guido's Fresh Marketplace. Welcome to my cooking show, The Natural Cook with Anna Gershenson. Today we have a very, very special show for you. I traveled to Israel recently and I was very inspired by the foods that I was eating there. It's a fairly young state. It was established in 1948, but its cooking traditions go thousands of years back. Let's start cooking and then I will tell you more about what we are making today and why we're making it and what is so special about this food. So we are going to roast a whole cauliflower. We are going to also roast sweet potatoes, and they will be roasted to become so soft that they will be practically caramelized. We will also make tahina sauce. That is something that is used in Israel as a condiment over different things, and also served as a base for making hummus. And then a very light salad that is good for winter and using vegetables that you usually don't use so often in your cooking. So I have a pot here, so I pre-cooked my cauliflower. The reason I pre-cooked it because it will be roasting in the oven for a long time, but I want it to be like buttery soft inside. And so to achieve that, I put it into a salted water where you put about 2 teaspoons per quart, and then cook it for about 3 to 5 minutes until it gets softened. And now what I'm going to do is I will take my cast iron pan, which is really a very good utensil to use for roasting. You can also use it baking sheet, but cast iron pan really heats up very nicely and creates extra heat. So what I will do with this cauliflower, I allowed it to sit a little bit to get the steam off, to dry up a little bit, and now I will take my olive oil, I'll put it on my hands, and I will just moisten hands with olive oil and put cauliflower, kind of massage it with olive oil so it gets into all the crevices. And as you have noticed, I haven't removed the core or the greens. And of course, the fresher your cauliflower is, especially when, you know, it's a new harvest, but cauliflower is available all year round, so you can eat this wonderful vegetable all year round. So now that it's very, very nicely moistened with oil, I will sprinkle some additional salt on top. And that's it, and it's ready to go into the oven. So place it into your cast iron pan and into a preheated 450-degree oven. So you see, the heat is really, really high. All right. So another vegetable that we are going to be cooking today is sweet potatoes. Sweet potatoes are amazing. They are so full of wonderful nutrients, carotenoids that turn into vitamin A in your body, and a lot of other things. We'll talk more about it. But in the meantime, I will just grab my baking sheet. We'll place it here. The potatoes were washed, and I just trimmed the ends a little bit, and as you can see, the color is really, really bright and deep orange. And this is the kind of potato you want to choose, because there are many different kinds of sweet potatoes. And the darker the color, the more nutrients it has. So I will take these potatoes, and again, I'm going to take my olive oil and just pat it all over my sweet potatoes, and then sprinkle with salt, and then it goes into the oven. And it's just such a fabulous way to to get your food cooking while you're doing other things. You can forget about cooking and go back to doing whatever you have to do while your food is being prepared, and you will be able to nourish yourselves with this wonderful, delicious food. I used to bake sweet potatoes often, but not the way that it's been done in Israel. There, they bake these potatoes and other vegetables in a special oven that's called taboon, and it's actually like traditionally it's the oven that is made from clay, but now they make it also out of metal. Let me stick it into the oven and we'll continue. And so it is really a very, very high heat oven where you basically you roast your potatoes or vegetables, and you also kind of grill them, so they come out pretty charred. And in order for us to accomplish this in a regular oven, you really have to cook them at high temperature and for a good amount of time. If I usually roasted my sweet potatoes until they were soft, and it took maybe about half an hour, I realized that it takes me practically close to a full hour for these sweet potatoes to roast the way that they were there and for it to taste that way. Okay, so while our vegetables are roasting, we are going to make a sauce. The sauce that we are going to make today is called tahina. So what is special about tahina is that it's made with tahini. Tahini is it's a paste that is made from ground sesame seeds. And sesame seeds are really a wonderful nutrient that you should try to include more in your diet. And of course, either sprinkling something, putting it into salad, but having sesame seeds ground where you really get to eat a lot of them at once and in a very delicious way. This is really a wonderful way to incorporate this healthy food into your diet. And sesame seeds are full of calcium, so it's good for your bones. Also, what's good about sesame seeds is that compared to peanut butter, where you can get different kinds of molds, it would never happen with sesame seeds. So you can rest assured that it's really a very kind of pure and unadulterated product. So what we are going to do is, first of all, the ingredients that go into tahina are garlic, lemon juice, a little bit of salt, and also tahini paste and water. So first I'm going to show you how I'm preparing my garlic. I take a full clove of garlic and I just whack it until you hear like a little cracking sound. And then you cut off the part where the root is, and then it's very easy just to peel it off. It just slips off. It's that simple. So we get rid of our skin, and usually when garlic is young, there is no shoot inside, but as it ages, you see that there is this, the shoot starts developing that later might grow, and actually it will be like a new garlic, like a green garlic that you can plant. That's why they save garlic for planting, and the farmers, and then the rest of it they would use for selling at the markets and cooking with it. And I take this shoot out because it becomes bitter, and you don't want that bitterness. And then my favorite way of preparing garlic is just using a microplane grater, or either a little coarser one or a finer one, doesn't matter. And what you do is you just grate it into your bowl, and so it becomes like a puree. So when you are actually going to have the sauce, you are not going to have like pieces of garlic. And depending on how sharp you want it, how strong you want it, you can put a little more or less, but I'm going to put probably garlic clove. This was a big garlic clove, so I won't use all of it. So garlic might have sharp flavor, and in order to tame it, we are going to add lemon juice to it. It's going to be about juice of about half a lemon. So I'm adding maybe a couple of tablespoons, and then we'll add a little bit of salt. And then we are going to take our whisk and just combine them together. And then let them sit. And by going through this preliminary step, you will avoid having this harsh, like sour or bitter garlic flavor. So allow it to sit maybe for about 10 minutes if you can, and then we will add the tahini to it and mix it together. So while this is softening, we are going to go on to our next dish. And the next dish is a very light salad that I came up with this recipe on my own, very spontaneously. I love making things out of produce that I have in my refrigerator, and that's why I always have a lot of different herbs and a lot of different vegetables and fruit, and of course mostly what's seasonal, and something that a lot of people won't think of using a lot, which is radishes and celery. I always would slice celery and put it into different salads that I make, be it chicken salad or salad with grains or salad with just vegetables, or if I make a green salad even, I would slice celery and I'll put it there. And what is so good about celery? Celery is very high in very special kinds of sodium that is extremely beneficial to our bodies. And what it does is, first of all, it raises hydrochloric acid in our stomachs, and that allows us to digest our food better. And also, what's good about it is that it really contributes to alkalinity of our blood. It alkalizes our blood. So what happens is that, in case you are not aware of it, that the foods that we eat often, which are proteins and grains, they are actually acid producing. They make our blood acidic. And what happens is that we do not eat enough of vegetables and fruits to create the balance between acid and alkaline food. And so celery is really a perfect kind of vegetable for that. And it's often being ignored, and that's why I'm urging you, please don't ignore the celery. And I'm showing you what to do with it. As you see, I didn't separate celery into like separate stalks, but what I do, I just wash it under running water to make sure that it is clean inside. And then even the leaves, that you have on celery, I don't get rid of them. And I just thinly slice it so that our celery will be consumed very, very nicely. I don't like usually like thick slices. I like to have fairly dainty slices, and this is what I'm doing now. Slicing the celery. It's also, if you are doing juicing, then it's a very good idea for you to make juice with just celery in the morning, and that really helps you heal your gut if you have any kind of digestive issues. That will help you rebuild your gut very, very quickly. So now that our celery is sliced, I will be putting it into a bowl. I like having a big bowl where I can mix things easily without anything spilling out. Okay, and now on to radishes. So radish is also kind of unsung vegetable. And what I like about it, of course, that it is a vegetable that is also in cruciferous family. And so cruciferous vegetables are really very, very good for us. They help take toxins out of our bodies. They're anti-inflammatory. And so radish is one of those vegetables. But what people don't know is that radish greens are also great for us. They're actually one of the best foods that you can eat. And if you buy radishes together with their greens, and the greens, try to pick greens that are really nice and fresh, because it's a wonderful prebiotic. So when you consume it, then you help your body digest food better and also get rid of different parasites and also of different kinds of impurities. Now I'll show you an easier way to slice celery. Radish. So what you can do, you can just cut off the stem and the top, the root part, and then cut it in half. And when you cut it in half and place it down, then it's much easier for you, it's balanced. And then you can hold it and you can cut it much better. And it actually doesn't matter for your salad because it's going to end up in your mouth and in your stomach anyway. So you saw how much easier it is for me to cut the radish this way compared to cutting the radish if I do not place it cut side down. All right, so we will add our radish to the bowl, and the next is red onion. Red onion also is a wonderful food that is very powerful. It's sulfur-containing food, and sulfur is great for our body. And out of all onions that you can use, actually red onion is probably the most beneficial to your health because it's a stronger onion and it also has color. So I thinly slice my onion and I'm going to add it to the salad. Sometimes red onion can be very strong, and so you might want to taste it, because if the onion is strong, then it might overpower other food. This onion happens to be fairly sweet, and then you would want to just put it into cold water for some time for all this bitterness and pungency to be released. And the next ingredient that we are going to add to our salad is orange. We have now abundance of citrus fruit, and they are so good for you. They have these wonderful bioflavonoids, and we didn't really know that before, but I just learned recently that oranges have a very absorbable form of calcium. So I know that you like drinking orange juice in the morning, but really it's much better to eat it together with its fiber and its flesh. And what I'm doing now is creating these supremes of orange, because I don't want to put the membrane into my salad. So by cutting off the ends and then placing on my cutting board and then cutting around so that I would release the white pith but leave the orange flesh, I would peel it like that all the way and then separate it into supremes, and I'll show you that it's not difficult to do it at all. And then we will add those supremes to our salad, and they will make it very refreshing and will add juiciness to this wonderful salad. So I'm taking now a paring knife because it's easier to handle, and then I will take and place it right there where the membrane starts. And then I'll go on the other side and cut through. And as you see, I'm using a sewing motion. So now that I have cut one, I will try doing it this way instead of going on both sides when I have more space to work with, because I released already one supreme. I'm going to just put into the bowl. And then when it's all done, then I'm going to squeeze the juice that will go into the salad, because we cannot completely release everything from the orange. Okay. As you see, it's really not difficult at all. And you can do the same thing with grapefruits. You can make a wonderful salad with supremes of grapefruit and oranges and Mineola oranges and tangerines, so that you would have different specimens of citrus fruit in your bowl, and then you can get some kumquats that you can slice and add, and you will create a very delicious salad that you can use you know, as a dessert or serve with a little cookie. So now I will squeeze the juice, and of course what you want to do is to season your salad. I use kosher salt for seasoning my salad. Diamond kosher salt is very sweet. It's not abrasive. It's free-flowing. It has no additives. So I just add some salt and a little bit of black pepper. But I also dress it with a spicy oil. I love the hot sesame oil that you use very sparingly. I add it to soups, I drizzle it into some salads, and so now this is what's going to dress my salad. And some apple cider vinegar, which is also wonderful for your digestion. And now I'm just tossing them together. And of course you have to taste what you made, because unless you taste it, you don't know whether it has enough salt, whether it has enough spiciness, whether you need to add some more of apple cider vinegar. All right. It's very good. I would add more salt, because salt is really the secret ingredient that a lot of people are afraid to add to their food, because sodium is not really, excess sodium is not good for you. But if you don't eat a lot of processed foods, and that's where sodium is hiding, if you make food yourself, then it's the salt that brings out all the flavors into your food, in your food. So everything starts tasting better when you add salt. That made a big difference. Okay? So now that our salad is ready, we are going to finish our sauce. Delicious food. Delicious and nutritious. Okay, so I will start pouring tahini into my lemon juice. You'll need about half a cup of tahini. And as you are adding it, it's thickening. You see, when you are combining together the lemon juice with the tahini, it really becomes very thick. And in order to thin it out, you will be using just cold water. So what you want to do is add it gradually, and you will see how it transforms this sauce from being thick to getting really nice and flowing consistency. The easier way for you to do it would be in a food processor. So you can just throw all of these things together and process them, and that's it. Okay, so we'll finish our sauce in a minute to make sure that it is as thin as we want it to be, but in the meantime, we will check on our vegetables to see how they are roasting. Okay. So our vegetables have finally roasted, and you can see that the cauliflower is nice and brown. If you keep it there even longer, then you would make it more charred and it will be even more delicious. However, it's nice and ready. You want to take a knife and pierce it through the heart of the cauliflower, and then you will know whether it is ready or not. The easier the knife goes in, the softer it is. So now we are going to take our cauliflower and put it on a serving dish. And as you see, I have the whole core inside together with leaves, and you can eat them as well. They became nice and charred. And so you will just cut it into wedges, just like that, and pour some delicious tahini, and it's ready to be served. So we'll taste it. I'm sure it will be delicious. And in the meantime, what is so special about Israeli cuisine? Israeli cuisine is really influenced by many cuisines of the diaspora region where Jews were exiled and ended up living, and even though they lived autonomously, but they were influenced by the food traditions of the populations where they were living. So, for example, Jewish Polish cuisine is actually very close to Polish cuisine, and Moroccan Jewish cuisine is close to what Muslim Moroccans cook. So it's very interesting that this is like a melting pot, and when you come to Israel, you get to taste it, and also this atmosphere of people eating together, eating many little salads and many wonderful vegetables that are very delicious by themselves, that you don't really have to do much to them. So now with this sweet potato, as you can see on the baking sheets, that it was baking to the point where the juices started like flowing out and caramelizing on the baking sheet. And so what becomes is the potato becomes totally collapsed. And when you open it, then it is like totally soft and mushy and flavorful. And what you do, you just open it up, just like that. You can do it with your hand if you're not afraid of heat. And you can serve it either with labne, or you can just cut it open like this. And then you can sprinkle either sumac, which is a spice that I brought with me. It's berries of a tree. They are red, they are dried, ground, and then they have this wonderful tart flavor. And then you add them to chicken stews, something where you want acidic flavor. They're also full of antioxidants. So this is a wonderful addition, besides all the other spices that you find in Israel that flavor food, and that's why it also makes it taste so delicious. So I will serve it today with some sweet butter, and I will sprinkle some Celtic salt. This is salt that comes from Brittany that was just evaporated naturally. So there are all the minerals that are naturally occurring in the water, in the seawater, that are still there, and it will make it so delicious. This is how they served it where we were eating it. They were just putting like some sweet sour cream or thickened yogurt and some delicious salt, and that was it. And that was all you needed to enjoy this wonderful food. So let's sprinkle. Okay, and let me see how it tastes. So the sweetness of potato, sweet potato, and the tartness of sumac really contribute to each other in a wonderful way. So let's try. It tastes so good. If it cooked a little longer, it would probably be even mushier and more charred. So if you have more time at home, please do it this way. However, this is wonderful food that cooked on its own, that gives you powerful antioxidants and nutrients to fight whatever is invading you from the outside, like polluted air or water, and bacteria and parasites, and enjoy it at home. I hope you can join me for the next show and learn more about the delicious food that you can cook at home. Bye-bye. Support for this program is provided in part by Guido's Fresh Marketplace.